Hey strangers, it's Sarita, and today, as you can tell, I'm going to be doing a Draw My Life video. So it all started off a lovely cold October day when I popped out of my mom with a full head of curly hair. Woo! It's a girl! Yeah! So I was born on October 25th, and in the next 6 days, I actually celebrated my first Halloween. My mom was a single mom, so her and my grandmothers together made my first Halloween costume. I was Mommy's Angel and Grandma's Little Devil. I hate glares. Okay. So 1995 was a big year for me. I celebrated so many holidays that year, and it was a lot of firsts. Here is one of the firsts that I experienced. In 1995, it was my baptism at church. My whole family is Catholic, and that is me being given to Jesus. That was a very bad drawing of Jesus, but what it was a stained glass picture of Jesus, and I freaked out and started crying. But, you know, grew to love him. One of the most memorable memories that I have of myself is going through a thrift store when I was about 18 months old, and I stripped down in the middle of the thrift store. Oh my goodness, it was so embarrassing, but I stripped down in the middle of the thrift store, and the whole reason was because I wanted to try on this amazing leotard with a little tutu, and because I did that, my family kinda got the hint, and they decided to enroll me in dance classes, and that's where my journey with dance started. Since I was so good with dance and I was very musically connected, my grandma decided when I was 3 to put me in piano. From there, well, not from there, a few years later, I started elementary school at Greenfield, and for the first time, I started making friends. I was the only child, so this is my first encounters with kids. There's my shoe. After Greenfield, I went on to a big school called La Villa. It was a school of the arts, and on the outside of the school, it had that, I think it was Leonardo, the Perfect Man, where he like keeps moving. It was weird. But because it was an art school, I had to pick piano or dance. Obviously, I chose dance. And every day I went to school and had to be the perfect little ballerina with my hair in a bun. And I actually ended up cutting my long curly hair just so I could be able to put it in a bun myself. And then this is where the bad stuff happens. First, it started off good in 2008 on my 13th birthday, and everything was special. And then a month later, my mom got kind of sick. And yeah, that's the thermometer. There we go. My mom got sick and she ended up having to be put into the hospital. I was very scared. I didn't know what was doing and what was going on, and my family told me that I couldn't see her until one day, and that was actually Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving, I just got worse and worse. Being that I come from a single parent home, it was hard for me, and I never wanted anybody to see me cry, so I always tried to be really strong. And then the worst day of my life happened. January 12th, 2009, when they were going to ship my mom to a new hospital because the hospital she was at wasn't working, she passed away. I was asleep on the couch with my cousin, and I got the news, and I tried to be brave and told them I was fine, and then I ended up crying myself to sleep that night. And then, even though I had this hard news on my back, I ended up going to school the next day because I thought I was fine and I could handle it. And then I ended up having a huge breakdown, and I went and stayed in my dance teacher's office. Love you, Miss Otley. And from there, I didn't know what to do, and I spent endless days on the internet because I didn't want to have to deal with real life, and I didn't want to go to therapy. So I spent days on MySpace and chat rooms and Facebook and any other random site where I could just create what I called a fake happiness, where I didn't have to be myself and I could just do what I wanted. And then I found YouTube. I watched hundreds and hundreds of videos like Jenna Marbles, Shane Dawson, PewDiePie, and Fred, and I became obsessed with it. I always wanted to get my own camcorder and record myself to put on YouTube, but I had no money. So I just put it off and moved on with my life. And this is a transition to where I went from having curly hair to having straight hair. I decided that I was half happy, but mostly I was secretly sad, and I didn't want anybody to know. So I just focused on my dancing and tried to excel in that as much as I could to take my mind off of things. I ended up getting accepted into Douglas Anderson School of the Arts, which is a high school, and I maintained all A's for the most part. You know, got some B's. Nobody's perfect. But then there was a big thing that happened that changed everything. I made my first D in pre-calculus, and I thought my life was over. I thought it was the biggest failure, and everything would just go from downhill from here. I started getting anxiety. I mean, my mom died, school was hard, dance, plus I was still doing piano, and I was worried about being perfect and trying to come off like everything was okay. So, most of the times I would sit up in my room alone in my house. There's some plants outside my house, by the way. And I lived with my grandparents. And my grandma would always tell me that I was fine and I was just faking it, and to just stay in your room and don't worry about your friends and just worry about school. So I was always just alone. And then things get a little bit better. Oh, drinking some tea. Here is where things are getting better. I finally graduated high school, and I was deciding what to do with my life, and I decided to say deuces and leave home and start my own life. Even though my friends and my grandmother really didn't want me to go, I still went, and my friends were very supportive of me. Thanks, Ken, Sierra, Miracle, and Raynal. Bye, guys. I'll see you soon. So then I packed up and moved to Orlando, Florida, home of Mickey Mouse and theme parks galore. Even though I was only 2 hours away, it felt like I was a whole world away. I moved into a big apartment complex with a whole bunch of college kids, and my apartment's even next door to a basketball court. I thought it was going to be the best thing because I could watch all the guys play basketball, but it just gets really annoying because all they do is scream and yell all night long. And now that I'm in college, I hung up my ballet shoes and I actually grabbed a palette, and I'm now an art major at Valencia College. So even though I did dance and piano as a kid, I'm now doing art. And now you would think that I'm doing completely better. But with money, food, school, working a job, and being alone in a new place, anxiety has returned. I try to control the anxiety by going to loads of concerts and managing to squeeze my way in the front row to take my mind off of things I have to do. Oh, and I got blonde tips in my hair. But then Playlist Live came around. And Playlist Live was such a surreal thing for me, and I had always wanted to go, and this year I finally saved up enough money to go and take myself. I felt like I was 13 years old again, but then I looked around and saw the real 13-year-olds, and I was like, nah, I'm definitely 19. I was so excited and meeting all the different YouTubers that I had watched for years, and it was just amazing being able to connect with those people, even if it was just for a few seconds. Except for when I met Louise, aka Sprinkle of Glitter. She was amazing and actually had a full conversation with me. And from there, I thought to myself, I can actually do a channel for real now. And even though I don't have a nice expensive camera, I have my nice little Surface laptop, and I even have a cute little lamp in the shape of an owl to use for lighting. So even though I have no money or no camera, I still make it work. I'm doing this because I always wanted to make YouTube videos, and it makes me happy. And that's all that I have for you guys. Sorry my Draw My Life video ended so abruptly, but I just wanted to tell you guys thanks for watching. If you have a story, tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And, you know, give me a like or subscribe. It really boosts my confidence. But anyways, yeah. I'm always going to be here making videos and doing stuff because I really like it. And now that I'm able to do it, I'm going to. But anyways, thanks for watching, and live life to the fullest. Thanks, guys.